welcome back to Bumble Stitches Flosstube. My name's Nicola and this is my little corner of Flosstube where I share all my stitching and a little bit of sewing with you. I'm coming to you from Suffolk on the east coast of England on a very sunny and hot day. Today's Sunday the 14th of August and it's probably the worst part of the day to be trying to do a video here in the conservatory. It's actually hotter than hell, I'm sure. It's about 31 degrees at the moment and yeah, no aircon, so I've got the doors open so you might get a little bit of ambient noise from the neighbours and the general sounds of outside, but I'm hoping to be able to get this recorded without overheating too much. So not too much makeup, as you can see, hair up, but needs must. I didn't want to leave it too much longer before I recorded. So this is episode 33 and it has been an awfully long time since I last joined you. I think it's actually been about 3 months, so I do apologise for the long delay and I hope you've all been keeping well. I've had quite a few messages from people. Thank you to anyone that dropped me a message to ask if I was doing okay. I really do appreciate it. I didn't get a chance to get back to everybody, but I do appreciate your concern and that you were all keen to see another Flosstube. So I hope there's still some of you actually out there that have joined me today, and there may be some new viewers, so I hope you enjoy what I've got to share with you. I have had lots of things happening in those past few months since I saw you. Obviously it was literally a couple of weeks after my wedding. Justin and I got married in April and that was the last Flosstube where I shared the wedding photos and news of that. And since then, of course, we had the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, and that was a long weekend here in the UK. We had 2 public holidays. So we had a 4-day weekend, and on that weekend we went and bought a puppy. So we went and got little Alfie, and I will pop some footage in of him when he was just a tiny little pup when we first got him. Get in my arms. Right, look. Okay, so this is Alfie. He's just had his lunch. Yes, haven't you? Are you going to say hi to everyone? Alfie, who's that? Are you going to sit still? Are you going to sit still? Look, you're going to wag your tail. He is such... Yes, I know. He is such a little love, but he is also a little bundle of mischief. So he's not going to sit still for long, but I thought I'd bring him in just to say hi to you all. And I think he wants to get down now. So, bye Alfie. See you later. So Alfie came into our lives and he has been both a frustration and a delight, and he has somewhat hampered my stitchy time. When he was very tiny it wasn't too bad. He could, once he'd settled, I could sit of an evening and stitch, but as he's got older he's just desperate to get hold of floss. He's desperate to get hold of my stitching, my charts, anything he can get his little teeth into. So it's been a little bit challenging, but I'm trying to get a few bits done here and there. We also welcomed a new member to our family. You may recall me telling you before that my daughter Lulu was expecting a baby, and Enzo was actually due today, the 14th of August, but she had a couple of complications and he was actually born a bit early. She was induced at 37 weeks, so he arrived early, and of course there was lots of help needed from Nanny with that. So yeah, there's been lots of busyness going on, and more recently, very sadly, we've had a bereavement in the family, so lots of things have been going on. So I hope you'll understand my long absence from recording, but I'm hoping to get, fingers crossed, hoping to get back into a more regular schedule once more. So I've got quite a few things to share with you, and I'm not sure if it's in any semblance of order. I just tried to gather everything together, things that I've finished, things that I'm working on, some haul, some plans, some happy mail, and lots of things. So I'm going to have a little sip of my drink because it is super warm in here. and we will get on with the Flosstube. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to share with you, and these, as I said, it was the Platinum Jubilee back in June, and I did manage to complete the little small that I was working on. This is a design by Helen Phillips, and I finished it as a little pillow, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So just plain on the back with the gingham. I think gingham goes with everything. I make it go with everything, and I really like this little key charm that I've had from my scrapbooking days. I used to make sort of like little mixed media little scrapbooks, and I thought that would go quite nicely on there. So that was nice to have that out for the Jubilee. And I did complete, I shared this with you all quite a few times, and I hope it doesn't reflect too much, but I was trying to find something for this little sort of cartouche here, and I actually cross-stitched. I don't know if it's reflecting too much, and if I can show you, if you can see that, it's quite a lot of reflection, I do apologise, but you can see I just cross-stitched the crown and 70 in that space there. And thank you to Michelle of Mama Loves You GB. She put out a free chart for the Queen's Jubilee, and I just took this little section from it to pop in there. You can see it's not very equally spaced, and this has not been stretched or anything like that. I literally just ironed it and popped it in. It's just a little frame from IKEA, just so that I could call it done, because this has been hanging around like forever. So it was really nice to get that one completed as well. So we'll pop that down somewhere it's not going to get broken with the pillow. And I have a finished object, not fully finished. Let me just grab my board, and this is the Heartfelt Stitch Along from Fat Quarter Shop. I'm just going to put a clip on that so it doesn't fall around. I shared this on my Instagram yesterday, and this was the charity stitch along for this year for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and there was a quilt pattern as well, and I stitched mine on 32 count fibre on a whim, and the colourway is Stone. A little bit of the linen left, so that's the fabric that I used. The called for was a I think it was a pale grey gingham by Fabric Flair, I think, but I really wanted to do it in this soft grey, and I think it's lent itself really well. All the flosses are the called for Orifloss, and I just followed the chart faithfully and think it came out really, really well. This was such a relaxing stitch because there's quite a lot of fill-in once you get the outline of the hearts and the stars. It was really nice just to sit and fill in, and I really like it on the 32 count. So this I'm going to finish into a pillow. I've got some pretty pink pom-pom trim that I'm going to put around it, but I just need to find, I haven't got anything suitable in my stash, my fabric stash, for a backing for this, so I'm going to have a little look around and find something suitable so I can make this into a really nice small pillow. So it was really nice to get that finished, and I was just about on time when I finished it, although I've only just got around to photographing it in the last few days, but that was a really worthwhile cause as well, which makes it all the more enjoyable. Okay, whips. I've got a few things to show you. I was actually thinking it's probably about time that I did a whip parade. I did one last summer, so yeah, there's probably still quite a few whips in that pile that are the same, but of course there are some things that have been finished and quite a few new ones added. So let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in a whip parade, perhaps for the next video. So last night, I'll start with my most recent stitching first, and this is still actually on the hoop, which is not like me. I've been stitching on an old whip, which is the Real Comfort, the Jane Austen sampler by Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery. And just to give you a little insight into how things are around here at the moment, I'll just show you a corner of this with a little bit of dirt, probably from the garden, and a nice bit of chewing where I had to wrestle the pattern from Alfie last night. So I thought this one would be easier to do because it only uses one colour of floss, so there wasn't a nice big tempting bundle of flosses lying around. And some nights I've just been going into the dining room and sitting at the table and stitching so that I can actually get some stitching done. But yeah, he's not very pleased about that because he can't quite reach up to grab anything. So this is still on the hoop, as I said. Apologies for that. I'll take the needle minder off so at least we can unfurl it a bit and show you my progress. I can't remember the fabric I'm using on this one. It's, as I said, it's a very old whip. It's definitely a 28 count, and I've got a feeling it's a cashel fabric. But as you can see, I'm just working my way along the church and the cottages along here. And I'm using all DMC in the colour 817. I don't know how good the light is if you can see that, but it's 817, just a really nice dark sort of gunmetal grey. I think this is going to make a really nice framed piece when it's complete. And I'm liking having, I quite like stitching on 36 count, and 32 count is probably my sweet spot. But I'm finding that I'm really liking to have something that's a little bit larger for when you're a bit tired, or sometimes if I want to stitch without my magnifier, so that I can just sort of have a bit of stitching suitable for all occasions. So yeah, I've done probably about not quite half, done sort of this section here, and I think I'll complete the whole half and then just move over. And I'm going to leave this one out and see if I can get a finish on it this year, which would be really nice. The next whip hasn't had a lot of action actually lately. I started this one when it first came out, and this is the, where are we? You can tell someone hasn't done a floss tube in a while, can't you? This is the Granny Square cross stitch along, and it's a free pattern by Laurie Holt, available on the Fat Quarter shop. I believe it's on the blog, but if not, just if you search for free cross stitch patterns on Fat Quarter shop, you will find it. And I made a very tiny start. I've just got one of the granny squares done, and this is on a 32 count linen, and I'm using the suggested thread, which is the Orifloss in the from the Prim collection. And I've got that for my Prim Stitch series, so I thought I would just do the same. And I'm just going to do the group of 4, and I think I'll make it into a pin cushion when it's complete. But I need to get back to that one. The reason that I've got a couple of, I think I've got 3 charts that use that same collection of flosses. The main one being the Prim Stitch series. Also, there's another Prim pattern that's name escapes me at the moment that I'm working on, and of course this one. And it dawned on me that I probably should get Prim Stitch series complete before I worry about the others, just in case I run short on any of the flosses. I mean, there's a lot of floss on one of those Orifloss spools, but yeah, I just sort of had a little bit of a panic and thought, well, if you run out, then you're going to be really cross if you can't finish Prim Stitch series without buying some more flosses. Just a quick sip. Next whip that I have been working on, again, this was a Jubilee one, and this is Happy and Glorious. Get the little clips. The breeze sometimes picks up and comes through the door there. And no, I didn't get it complete in time for the Jubilee. It might get complete in time for the rest of this Jubilee year. But let me just grab the pattern to remind us. Just need to find the front page. And it's Jubilee Joy. by Samplers and Stitches, which I got as a download on Etsy, and as you can see it comes as a suite of 3 charts there. And I made a couple of changes, as you can see. If you can see the on top of the house here on the roof, it's got happy and what I have done is taken the crown from one of the other charts in this collection, the red work one, and I've popped the crown on top of the house, and I'm just going to put an ampersand so it just says happy and glorious. I'm going to fit that in there because I just wanted to make it a little bit more regal, a little bit more in celebration of royalty. So that's another one I was working on. I think this is all a DMC as well. Have I got a bit of a mixture in here? Yeah, these are all DMC flosses, and the fabric is from my lovely friend Paula at Eva Faith on Etsy, and it's a 32 count linen in the colourway Sand. So all my grand plans for getting lots of Jubilee things finished didn't really pan out, but sometimes life has to take over, doesn't it? And sometimes our hobbies, as much as the thing is with stitching, I think you sometimes feel bad for making time for a hobby, which sometimes people might perceive as being a little bit incidental when there's lots of important things going on. But for me, it's almost like a de-stress. It's a way to just clear my mind at the end of the day, to just lose myself in my projects, even if it's just for an hour. And I think it's, you know, I find it really important to try to just do a little bit of stitching each day, although that hasn't really been possible of late. But I have been making a concerted effort to always stitch on my lunch break from work, so that really does help to sort of stress bust, especially when work's been busy as well. I'm a bit moany today, aren't I? Okay, the next whip is Parade of Elephants, and this is a stitch that I'm doing for Enzo. I have got a thread hanging here. I think I must have been Alfied at some point and just abandoned it. I was just about to start the next elephant's foot here. So you can see we've got the first elephant, and there'll be some back stitch or a long stitch to hold his little banner that he's holding. Let me show you the chart. So it's Parade of Elephants from Hello from Liz Matthews, and you can see what a fun design this is. I fell in love with it. I wanted something to stitch for my new grandson. I didn't want anything that was too baby, and this is just perfect. I love the colours. I think it would be great for a boy or a girl, but I particularly like the colours. And I'm going to stitch Enzo's name in the banner here. And I was planning on perhaps making it into a pillow or even framing it. And as I'm stitching it and looking at the sort of aspect of it, I think it will make a really nice drum. I may leave the bottom text off so that it's not too high, but I think it will make a really nice drum. So I think that will be, I'm always on about drums, and if you've been following me for a long time, you'll know I've never actually made a drum. So, but I'm sure with some help from Vonna Pfeiffer's fantastic video that I have watched a couple of times, that I'll be able to work it out. Again, these are all DMC flosses as called for in the pattern, and such a lovely colour palette, not too dark, not too bright, not too pastel, just perfect, I think, for a baby boy's bedroom. So I don't know when Enzo's going to get his drum, but I will be working on it some more soon for him. The next one is one that I started quite a while ago. Probably not long, actually I had started it before the wedding, but I literally had just made a start. So let me just get the bits and pieces out of my bag. Make sure I don't show the chart. This is a black and white print, unfortunately. I don't know if I shared this on my last Flosstube or not, but this is part 1 of A Wander Through Cosford Rise, and this is by Kelly of Cosford Rise Stitchery. Is it Stitchery? Yes, it is. And this is part 1, The Dedham Veil. And this is a series of 9 patterns. I think 8 have already been released, and part 9 will be probably quite soon, probably in the next month, I would imagine. And they are all places in Suffolk, so I thought it was a must. Now this, you mustn't laugh because this is a little bit ridiculous. I'm stitching it on a 36 count, and I have, well, you'll see. So I've got a fat quarter of fabric here. This isn't ironed. Again, we've got hanging threads. Oh, I'm so unprofessional today. So I started doing the outline and the first couple of the hay bales, and I don't know if they're like that elsewhere, but they're particularly in that area. They always seem to roll the hay into these sort of like big, almost like Swiss rolls. They're big sort of rolls of hay rather than square bales, and they look amazing. If you happen to drive past the fields when they've got them all set out, sort of drying in the fields, just when the sun's low enough at that sort of part of the evening, the shadows that they cast across the field is really quite spectacular. So not much to look at there, which is why I'm trying to conjure up some nicer images with my descriptions of the fields in Dedham, which is an absolutely beautiful place. If you're ever in this area, in sort of Suffolk or Essex borders, as Dedham is, or you're visiting the UK, it is of course where John Constable painted the Hay Wain, and it is an absolutely outstanding, pretty place to visit. Probably not so much now. The landscape around here is absolutely parched. My garden's like the Serengeti. It's been aided by Alfie chewing and digging everything up, and the sun. But we've had wildfires around here, and it's really not good. We desperately need some rain. We've been declared officially in a drought. We don't actually have a hosepipe ban in my area at the moment, but I think unless the rain comes soon, that will be happening any day now. So yes, so that's Dedham Vale, the first part of a walk through, a wander through Cosford Rise. I'm using all the DMC that's called for. Some of the threads I haven't even taken out the pack yet. That's how far I've got. This lovely packaging, and the way they were put out is from Paula at the Patchwork Rabbit, and the rest of the colours I happen to have in stash. So I've got a bit of a mishmash. I need to get some more floss drops. But so yes, another one that I would really like to get on with. What I would really like to do, and I had a grand plan that Justin and I were discussing at the beginning of the summer, and before all the life stuff started happening, I was explaining to him about that series, and he said, wouldn't it be really nice if we went to those locations, each of the locations that's in the series, and you could do a little bit of filming and show people and sort of tie it into the stitching as you were doing it. So I said that would be amazing. That would be, you know, I think people would really like that. But of course it didn't happen, and yeah, I don't know if it will. But I mean, I guess it still could. But I thought it'd be really fun just to go around and show you Dedham and show you Orford and show you Dunwich and the various places that Kelly's put in that stitch series. Okay, the next whip that I've been working on this week is the You Are the Boss stitch along, and this is a stitch along with Fat Quarter Shop, and the design of course by Laurie Holt. And I love this. Again, it's a nice relaxing one for me. I'm using a 28 count Lugana. I'm using the called for DMC, and there was a thread pack from Fat Quarter Shop specifically for this design. Just takes one skein of each. I haven't used all of them because a lot of these are Laurie's happy colours, and I have them already on floss drops with other projects, so because I was so keen to get started, I just raided those. So I've got some on floss rings here and some on floss flowers that I raided from a couple of other projects. So I just took the ones out of the pack that I didn't have already on floss rings. This is, as I said, it's a stitch along. So the first two motifs were week 1, which was last week. This week we're working on these 2 motifs, and then it goes 2, 2, 2 and 2, and then the final section is the text here. And so I think that's 7 parts in total. So as I said, week 2, which is this week, is this block here and this block. I'm just going to, I think once I've finished these, I might try and get ahead of myself and complete the grid, which is in the grey. And I've got my lovely Bee in My Bonnet needle minder, also from Fat Quarter Shop, and this is a Laurie Holt design. Super, super cute. And the brilliant thing about this is if you look at this and think, well, I don't quilt, or I don't really like that saying, they have got a free alphabet and chart available that you can use to put whatever you want in the middle section here. So if you go along to Fat Quarter Shop and search for I'm Just Saying, you can get this free chart, and it's brilliant because you get the uppercase letters. See how easily I can do this without dropping them all. And there are the lowercase, and then you get the punctuation, which that ampersand there might fit on my Happy and Glorious chart. So I have to see if that stitch count will fit in. And you also get the numbers, and you also get a really cool chart, which is this one. So you get the chart there. I cannot count my day complete till needle, thread and fabric meet, and I think that is just so cute. And they show you an image there of it completed. So I'm definitely going to be stitching that one. So what's not to love? It's a free chart. You get all the alphabets, the punctuation, the numbers, and you get the really cute chart as well. I think I'm probably going to stick with the text as charted, because I like to think that I do a bit of quilting once in a blue moon. And I think eventually when my sewing room's all decorated, it will look really, really cute. And I'd like to finish it similarly to the design here with the red rickrack and the fabric on the outside. I just think it's a really nice striking design. So that's what I've been stitching on lately, and because I got all my things ironed yesterday in preparation, so I thought I was absolutely determined that I was going to join you today. So I got everything pressed, and once I had this piece pressed, I thought, well, I don't want to stitch on it last night because it would have got all crinkled again and hoop marks. So that's why I dragged out the Modern Folk Embroidery Jane Austen, so I could keep it nice to share with you today. So that will definitely be stitched on again. I might take that for my lunchtime stitch for work, because I can see that without my magnifier, which makes life a lot easier. At the moment in the car, I'm stitching away on a caterpillar cross stitch from last year, which is Hello Sunshine. I'm almost finished, but it is actually in the car, so I couldn't share it with you today, but it will be finished soon and I'll share it with you then. A couple of finished things that I have done since I saw you last, one of which, I'll get my board back up again, is I was making a project bag, and this project bag is to be part of a giveaway when I hopefully, if I reach 10,000 subscribers. And I'm lucky there's anybody still here, the amount of time it's been since I last did a video, but lots of you are, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm hoping that I can grow the channel a bit more, with a bit more regularity from me. And when I do reach that goal, that milestone, then I'll be giving away this bag. This is a Lori Holt pattern that I stitched. I cross stitched this and used lots of Lori Holt fabrics to make the bag, and it's got the Lori Holt fabric on the back, and the lining is in the yellow with, I don't know if you can see those, there's a little pears on there. So I thought that'd make a really cute giveaway for that milestone. So please do subscribe if you haven't already, and hopefully, as I said, who knows, maybe this year, maybe we can do it this year and have a big celebration. I'll get some other things to go with it. So I managed to get that finished, which was a weight off my mind because that had been sitting for ages waiting. And I also shared the last episode these little trays that I bought in a shop here in the UK called Home Bargains, and they got these little, these are on sort of springs, so you put them over the arm of the sofa or the chair where you are. They're meant to be to put your cup of tea and your remote control on for the TV, but I thought they'd make a really cute stitching tray. So what I did was I'm going to remove this because this is breakable, this is for my orts. And what I have done, I'll just take the bits off. I've got some cute little accessories, Lori Holt pincushion and scissors and a needle minder. So I'll take those off and then I can show you what I did without it all falling on the floor. And I just made a really simple quilted mat to go in the bottom. And I was super lazy because I made this and cut it to size and then thought, well, obviously I'll bind it or do something to finish the edges. And it was such a perfect fit that I didn't actually do that. So I was a bit lazy, but you can't actually tell because it sort of pushed down into the edges of the tray so snugly that I didn't think anyone would notice. So I've told you all now. I'm really pleased with it. It just is a cheery way to have all your little stitchy bits. As I said, I've got my little ort container here, little tomato pin cushion, another little pin cushion. Don't need two, but they look cute. So the little red scissors, tape measure and my needle minder, and that sits on the side of the sofa with me while I stitch, or it did until Alfie came along, and he thinks this is like heaven and he just is dying to get to it. So I think it's going to be a little while before I can actually sit in the lounge and stitch with this, but I just thought I'd share it with you. I don't know if they've still got them in Home Bargains. They're literally about £4, super cheap. So if you fancy having a go, it's a really fun little project to do. Okay, I'll pop that down. I had some giveaways on the last episode and I have drawn some winners, so hopefully the people that entered will be watching and can get in touch and claim their prizes. So let me share with you what those prizes were. These were all generously sent along from a Fat Quarter shop. The first one was the Bloom Where You Are Planted cross stitch pattern, which of course you can stitch as one complete piece or as 3 individuals, and this little Wellington boot is adorable. So the winner of this one is Sharon Williams, so congratulations Sharon Williams. If you can drop me an email, you'll find that in the description box below this video. Let me know where you are and I'll send this along to you. The next prize were the quilt patterns, and we have the Rocking Around Christmas pattern and the poinsettias, which the name would suggest Christmas, but I'm guessing you can do this with any fabric and make it for any time of year. These are both It's So Emma patterns, and the winner of these is Joanna Hartland. So congratulations Joanna, if you can drop me an email as well. And finally, the gorgeous, super cute and highly collectible stitch cards from Lori Holt. This is Stitch Set L and it's the baking set. So you've got the pie and the oven, gloves, the mixer, the mixing bowl and the apron. And the winner of this little bundle of cards is the Pokey Little Pineapple, and I believe that's Caroline. So congratulations to you, and again, please drop me an email and I'll get this in the post to you as soon as I can. So thank you everyone for entering, and thank you for your patience. It's got to be like the longest wait to find out if you've won a giveaway ever. So if you are watching, it's probably a surprise because you probably forgot that you even entered. But no, thanks ever so much for entering, and thank you to Fat Quarter Shop. Right, they're going to fall off there, so I'll pop them down. Just grab my drink. I'm drinking raspberry lemonade, which is very refreshing. I've got some more giveaways for you and some happy mail to share as well. So why don't I share some happy mail first? And the first thing that I've got, and I need to send a big apology and a huge thank you to Ebony. If I just get the details out, if you can just bear with me 1 second. And Ebony is at In Stitches, and here's her card, and she's on Etsy and she's on Instagram. It's at In Stitches, so you can see there. And Ebony makes the most beautiful stitching project folders, sort of like a portfolio. And she sent this along to me, and it was ever such a long time ago, and Ebony, as I say, I do apologise, but it's absolutely gorgeous. It's beautifully made, quilted on the front and on the back, and she's used this gorgeous strawberry design, really nicely bound, and the fabric on the edge is sort of like a cross stitch pattern, which is really cute. It's got a little fabric label there, which adds a nice touch. It's a tie closure, and then inside you can see there are lots of fun pockets, really useful for your project. So you've got this one, which is a zippy project pocket with the really nice heavy gauge vinyl. That has another pocket behind it, which is a really good size. You can fold your chart and pop it in there. If you've got one of the smaller charts, that will go in whole. There's a little tab up here that you can put your scissor fob or your floss ring on. A little pocket here that's sectioned into two, so a larger section there and a little smaller one there. And then down here we have yet another pocket, really useful size. And this is, I can describe it best as sort of like a cotton flannel. And this will work perfectly as a sort of a thread bed. So if you've got little pieces of floss that you're not finished with, they will sit on here and not get lost. And finally, a little felt parking spot for your needles or your counting pin or anything that you want to pop on there. And the whole thing will then fold up and tie, and you can keep your project really prettily and sweetly contained. So thanks Ebony for sending this. I'll pop a link to Ebony's Instagram and Etsy shop in the description box below so that you can pop along and have a look. She has made some beautiful ones, beautiful designs, and I think as well as a really nice treat for yourself, they would be a fabulous present for a stitchy friend. Because dare I say it, it will be getting to that time of year. They've already got the Christmas chocolates in the shops here. They're probably all melted, but they have got them out already, so it's absolutely crazy. Ebony also popped in some gorgeous floss drops as well, which I do desperately need, so thank you ever so much. That was really kind of you, Ebony. So that was my first wonderful happy mail, and in this box, the box is a bit chewed. I don't know who could have done that, but there's and if you excuse the crumpling, I have got some goodies that were sent along by Fat Quarter Shop to share with you today, and some of these will become future giveaways. So just move the box. Sorry about that. Okay, the first one, this is so apt for today. This is Here Comes the Sun, and it's Citrus Summer cross stitch pattern. I think this is a Stitch Quarterly. Was it a Stitch Quarterly? Yes, it was a Stitch Quarterly, with that gorgeous sort of mason jar drinking cup mug thing with the lemons and the lemonade. really, really pretty. I love the way they've finished this one too. It's all stitched in DMC and on a 14 count Ada, or you can stitch it on whatever you wish. So that's a really pretty one. There are some more stitch cards, and this is stitch card set M, so the one following the one that we gave away earlier. And this has got the strawberries, the big strawberry, the fruit tea, I think it's probably a chamomile tea judging by the design, and the really pretty kettle. And you're all familiar with these by now. These are all the same stitch count, so completely interchangeable. You can stitch them on their own as little tiny pillows to put in a bowl or on your tiered tray. You can stitch them together to make a design. They're just really, really useful, and lots of Laurie's cross stitch patterns. This is what I love about the way Laurie designs things. So you're the boss of your own quilt that I'm stitching as part of the stitch along. If you wanted to pop any of these designs or from any of the stitch cards into any of those squares on that, you can, because they're all done to the same stitch count, which I think is really, really clever. So that arrived as well. The next thing that arrived, talking of You Are the Boss, is a copy of the You Are the Boss cross stitch chart. So I've told you all about that one. I'm going to put that to one side actually. They've also done a couple of patterns in aid of the National Breast Cancer Foundation in the United States called Support Group, and these are published by It's So Emma but designs from Laurie Holt. So there is the Support Group quilt pattern, which is a 59.5 by 66.5 inch finished design size, really, really cute. They can be bras, they can be bikini tops, but they're just fun. And if you didn't want to do a whole quilt in it, you could just make like a pillow, couldn't you, or a little wall hanging or something like that. But really, really cute. There's also a cross stitch chart, again called Support Group, using the same motifs as on the quilt. And this is all stitched in DMC as well, which makes things nice and simple for getting your flosses and keeps it a little bit more budget friendly as well, I think. This was stitched on a 25 count Lugana, but again, you can choose your fabric to suit. Use something from Stash or use whatever you fancy. And there's also a really, really cute Support Group needle minder. And I love what it says on the back, a supportive spot to keep your needles safe and secure. So really, really cute. And all of these products, as I said, do go towards supporting that foundation for breast cancer in America. Finally, I was sent a copy of Laurie Holt's new Scrappiness is Happiness book. And this is a thing to behold. If you are a Laurie Holt fan, if you are a quilter, this is an absolute must-have. This book has got so much. I think it's got 32 scrappy quilts in it. 32 quilts. It has the same format as Laurie's other books. It's got the ring binding on it, which means it lays flat when you're trying to work, or on one of your Laurie Holt book stands or any book stand. I'm trying to find a page where there aren't any instructions so I can show you how nice and flat it lays. I think, can we find one? There must be one. So it will lay nice and flat like that, so you don't have to worry about the spine sort of bending. And there was a live stream on Fat Quarter Shop's Flosstube channel on their YouTube channel, sorry, on the Fat Quarter Shop one on Friday. Really long, it was about 2.5 hours long, which was fantastic, where Kimberly and Laurie are on a split screen, and Kimberly's showing all the quilts in person and Laurie's explaining the inspiration and telling you all about them. Such a lovely watch. Sit there with your stitching, just enjoy all those beautiful quilts, and they are all in this book. And I will be giving this book away Not today. I think this book will be given away as part of the Laurie Holt social that I started at the beginning of the year, which has been a bit neglected, but I'm going to save this for that. So do keep using the hashtag and do keep sharing anything that you're sewing or cross stitching or crocheting or anything that you're doing. Just include that. I'll put the hashtag on the bottom of the screen. But thank you so much to Fat Quarter Shop for your generous these generous things that you've sent along, and as I said, there will be some giveaways as well for you all in the future. But I do have a few giveaways for you today. I'm getting a little bit hoarse in my throat, so I'm going to have a little sip of my lemonade. I'm going to put these safely because I don't want that book to get messed up. Okay, the giveaways for today. I'm going to give away the copy of the You Are the Boss. So if you want to use the word boss in your comment below, I will enter you to win this pattern. I'm going to write these down because I will forget the words otherwise, the keywords. The next is this super cute sleigh ride cross stitch pattern from It's So Emma, and I love this one. They've stitched it on the I think it's a Murano fabric with a splash. It's like the aqua splash. It looks like the snowflakes. Yeah, mint splash 32 count Lugana. Again, stitch it on what you like, but I think it's really, really pretty on that, and I love the finishing too. Use the word sleigh in your comment if you'd like to win that one. So we've got boss and sleigh. And finally, this one, which is another of the Stitch Quarterly patterns, and this is so pretty. It's got spring on it, but you don't have to include that. You could just do it with the really pretty cup and the bird and the flowers, and there's a little bird has joined us now outside. And if you want to win that one, use the word T-E-A, and I'll enter you for that. Just a couple of little guidelines for entering the giveaways. If you can please, it's written T on my notes, if you could please like this video, be a subscriber, and please be over 18 because I do need to ask you for your actual physical address so that I can send your prize to you. And that's all. So you just need to include those keywords, and you can enter for all of them if you like, but you can only win one just to keep it fair for everybody, and I will send them anywhere in the world just to keep you all as included as I can. I'd also like to do a quick thank you to some kind viewers that visited my Buy Me a Coffee page and bought me a coffee while I've been away. That's very much appreciated. It goes towards postage of the giveaways, so I'll pop the link down below as usual if you wanted to buy me a coffee. Although I think I have an iced coffee today, if that's all right with you. Let's move on to some haul. I'm just going to reach across, so bear with me 1 second. Oh, it's heavy. Okay. I haven't gone mad since I saw you last, but there are a few bits, but you have to bear in mind this is 3 months of haul, and I'm actually quite pleased with myself. I'm on a bit of, well, I'm on quite a bit of a budget actually, so I've not been going mad. I got my next 2 Nutcracker Village patterns from my joined the club with Patchwork Rabbit. So this one is the Spanish chocolate shop. I don't know if you can see that. And these are from Country Cottage Needleworks, and the flosses are in the back. And this one is, now I couldn't read this properly, I think it's called Merliton's Music Store, and it's got the really cute ballerina dancing outside there and some more flosses. And what Carla did at the Patchwork Rabbit at the beginning, look at this, who even am I, all these project bags. I think I need to put this into Ebony's project bag. I think these will fit just nicely. At the very beginning she sent the fabric, which is the 32 count Zweigart silver, which is, you can't see the silver I don't think on the camera, and the first lot of flosses, and then each month she's been sending any additional flosses that you need, and it's a combination of some DMC and mostly classic Colourworks. So I think there's one more part to come in that of the 9, and I haven't even made a start, but it's all there ready for when I do want to start on it. So that was lovely to receive those. The next thing is, and I cannot believe I've had the willpower to do this, if you are into yarn, hand-dyed yarn, particularly here in the UK, you will no doubt be familiar with Vykky from West Green Loft Yarns. And Vykky dyes the most beautiful yarns and has recently started dyeing linen for cross stitch and embroidery, which I was absolutely thrilled about. So as soon as she launched, I treated myself to a piece of linen, and she's also dyed some silk flosses as well. So they're all hand dyed by Vykky, and my parcel arrived and I thought, I'm going to save this and unbox it on my next floss tube. Well, how long have I waited? Waited and waited and waited. Must admit, forgot about it for a little while, and then when I was sorting out my things yesterday, it was so hard not to open this and have a look. So I'm going to unbox it with you now, so you can see how lovely it came. So it's Wiggly, or West Green Loft Yarns Dye Studio, hand dyed linen and fibre. How pretty is that? So we'll get this open now. I might have to rip it, which is a shame after all this time. So let's get into this box and share it with you. It's a bit like Christmas now, isn't it? So it's just got a lovely little logo stamped in there and all beautifully wrapped in tissue paper. So let's get the sticker undone and I can share this with you. So these are the touches that I love from all our lovely makers. So the lovely card, and that says, "You are wonderful. Thank you, Vykky." I'll take that today. And then in here, the parcel itself, again, really beautifully tied up. So let's have a look at what's inside. I mean, this is just like a present to yourself, isn't it? Okay, so first of all, let's get so this will be the linen, and this is hand-dyed linen, burnt sugar on a 32 count fabric. Excuse the crunkling, and I hope the lighting in here is going to do this justice when I eventually get it open. Oh, it's really pretty, really pretty. This first impressions. Let's get my board up so I can show you. So Vykky she's not a new dyer, she's been dyeing fabric, she's been dyeing yarn for a while, but she's a new dyer to cross stitch fabrics, and that is absolutely beautiful. It's much more subtle in real life than the camera lens is picking it up. This is a fat quarter, so you can see how pretty that is. Beautiful. Thank you, Vykky, that is amazing. I will be buying more, I suspect. Do follow Vykky on Instagram. She updates you when she's dyeing linen, and I'll pop a link to her Instagram and her Etsy shop or website, I can't remember which, I think it's a website, in the description box below, so you can have a look at Vykky's wonderful yarn and fabrics. And the floss is in this little bag here. This is like a waxed sort of paper bag, really nice. I can't remember the colourways of these. I said it was a long time ago. I think one was sort of like dusky rose. I can hold those up. It's like a really dusky, almost like a damask rose, and this is like a really sort of pale gold, and these are mulberry silk flosses. So they look like they are stranded, possibly 2 strands, quite a loose twist on the actual strands, so you could probably use one or both. I'll have a little experiment, see if I can find something. I think I had a copy of a free Blackbird chart that I saw Christina from Whilst Iris Naps stitching, that she made into a little drum. I think that would lend itself really well, but that was definitely worth the wait, wasn't it, to see those really pretty flosses and fabric. Okay, I'll pop that down. Next in my box here, I have got I've got my own copy that I pre-ordered from Fat Quarter Shop of Scrappiness is Happiness, and because I did a pre-order I got the free So Scrappy spools pattern as well. So really happy that I've got that, and it's fantastic that Fat Quarter Shop sent another copy so that I can share it with one of you as well. So I've put my copy down there. It's a bit like a bookshop in here now. I'm an avid fan of So Hot UK here in the UK. When I don't want to place an order directly with Fat Quarter Shop, and I do quite often, but sometimes I'll just pick stuff up if I want it quickly. I'll just pick it up from So Hot UK because they have a huge range of Laurie Holt's fabrics and notions now. And I've been wanting this for ages, and it came back into stock. And this is, I'm not going to be able to hold the whole thing up. This is the bag panel, the stitchy bag panel that Laurie put out, I think it was last year, and you've probably seen it on her channel. But basically it's a printed panel so that you can make your own Laurie Holt cross stitch bags. So there's those on that side, and you get the bits for the top, the main part of the bag, and the backs of the bags. There isn't a lining, but you can use any fabric for lining, or not line, whatever you want to do, and you can quilt them. Some others here, and it does continue. It's a bit hot for waving your arms about in here. As you can see, zippy bags it's called, and it's a whole panel of bags, which I was really thrilled to get, as I said, from So Hot UK. So I just fold that up, and it is big, and because I got the bag panel, I wanted to get the zippers to match, so I got the pack of zippers too. And just recently they have started a Fat Quarter Club, a monthly Fat Quarter Club for Laurie Holt fabrics, and it started in August, and this is the first one, which is all from Cookbook. So I don't know if you can see all those gorgeous Cookbook fabrics, and it comes with a little card that tells you all about it. And I believe you can join this club at any time, and you can cancel at any time. So really flexible, but just a really nice way to build up your stash of lovely Laurie Holt fabrics, which is a wonderful thing. So I have just got to tell you about some stitchy plans, and I'll be back with that in just one second. Right, as I mentioned, it's been super hot here, and I don't know if it's popular consensus or unpopular, but I don't like it. It's way too hot for me. I spend most of my time trying to avoid the heat and stay in the cool. So I am thinking ahead and thinking positive towards cooler times and cozy times when it's into autumn and winter, which is much more my time of year. So I had a little look through some autumnal and Halloweeny projects yesterday, and decided to sort of try and cool my head down and think about that instead of thinking about all this heat. And I've got this bag's got mostly autumn things in. This is one of my lovely bags from Sue in Australia. As you can see, gorgeous. And in here I have got a couple of works in progress, and also a pattern that I would like to start. This is Be Thankful from Country Cottage Needleworks. So really love that one, so I pop that in the bag ready. And there's a couple of whips in here, as I said, old whips that need to be resurrected. Where's my board gone? This one is from, I think it's Willow Hill. Let me just clip that on there and I'll get the pattern out and show you. These haven't seen the light of day for quite a while, probably since last autumn. Willow Hill samplings. This is Autumn Alphabet, and that's my very small progress on that one. So I'd love to get cracking on that again, and I'm using a real mishmash of flosses on that. So I've got them all here. I just pulled from stash things that I thought would work for it, and I'm stitching that on 36 count straw from Eva Faith on Etsy. So that one's in my autumn bag. Let's pop that there. And the other project that I have in here that I would like to reignite is Harvest Blessings from Brenda Gervais. This is a chart that was an addition, I should say, to the Women of the Mayflower chart. And I made a start on this last year. This is on a 32 count vintage country mocha, I believe. Let me just get it a bit more suitable. These are not pressed, so do forgive me for that. And this is how far I got on this one. And I think I pulled from Stash again the flosses for this. So these are mostly DMCs again. A couple of Gentle Arts as well. So those are calling my name big time because of this tremendous heat wave that we're having here. So those are the autumn ones, and also part of my autumn, I would like to make a start on the wonderful tomato pincushion stack that Celeste from Celeste Create shared on her, I don't know if it's on her quilty tube or on her Flosstube. I'll have to check on that. She makes a fabulous stack of tomato pincushions and they are adorable. So I pulled some fabrics, a couple of Laurie Holt ones, but just 3 different reds for the tomatoes and the green for the leaves. And I picked up a really cheapy packet of Hobbycraft green buttons, which actually were really good value for them, which makes a change. So lots of green buttons in there and some red DMC floss. And I will pop a link to Celeste's channel where you can see. It's a really great pattern because it's a stunning end result and really quite straightforward, and she explains it really, really well. So that's all good to go. That's in my plans, and my other plans are Halloween plans. I've got them all in my kitty corn patchwork bag that I made last year. And I mentioned Kelly at Cosford Rise Stitchery earlier, and she has brought out some really fun Halloween designs fairly recently. This one particularly caught my eye. It's another drum. I'm going to have drums everywhere at some point in my life. And this one has got the witch, the skeleton, there's a cat, and what else is there on there? You can see them all here. The cat, the witch, the skeleton, and a Halloween wreath. And what I love about this as well, and I don't know if you can really see it, you might see it here, she gives you, you know, you sometimes get like a strawberry, she does a little, like a jack-o'-lantern turnip. And this is stitched, and I'm going to attach mine to the top of the drums. I think that is just gorgeous. This is a PDF download that I got from Kelly's Etsy shop, which I'm going to link anyway because of Cosford Rise, so you'll see that. The other things that I've got in my kitty corn, in my kitty corn bag, are all the flosses ready for Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee by Brenda Gervais. You've all seen this one before. Bought it last year and didn't get round to it, so I need to make a start on those. And I also have a couple of patterns here. Now this one was sent to me super kindly. This was a bit of a unicorn for me. A lovely viewer sent this to me all the way from the States last year, and even included the DMC for me. So this is definitely going to be started, and I'm thinking possibly to put it on this fabric. This is I think it's a seraphim, I can't remember the colourway. I did start this on it, but I didn't really like it because it's so dark and mysterious, particularly down there in the bottom. I thought it might work for that la-di-da pattern. And I can't remember where I learnt about this free chart, but there is, I'm going to put something over it so that you can go and find it for yourselves. But if you go on La Di Da's website, there is a free companion chart to Something Wicked. So you've got the one long shoe on that, and you've got the pair of shoes, and this is Smell My Feet, which is so adorable, really quirky. I love it. So my plan is to stitch both of those as part of my Halloween stitching, or at least make a start, you know me. And last but not least, another one I bought earlier this year from Stacey Nash Primitives, which is Oliver, and he's part of the Animal Crackers Crumbs series, and he's just a super little black cat. I think he is the cutest thing ever. So that wraps everything up. I'm going to get Alfie now, which you will probably have seen earlier if I put it in there, or you might see him now, who knows, it'll be a surprise. But thank you ever so much for joining me today. It's been a while. I have missed you all, and I'm really happy to be back. Hopefully I won't be such a hot mess next time, and it will have cooled down. But do take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.